Source and references for the news. So basically, you first thing about introduction that there are the three basic pages for an interview. First is a pre-interview, second one is going to the interview, and third is a post-interview. Now the pre-interview page can be broken into four parts: learn about the source, arranging the interview, and research topic and decide on the angle, and fourth is a write a question. And then you have a question when a article has been assigned and reporter should be asking. So you will ask some question: what is the topic, what is the purpose of the article, what when it's is the what source of the information exists, and what should be interviewed. Okay, so this was the four stage. Pre-interview stage, when interviews are necessary for reporter has identified, they should find out they can about the source. Exactly what they will need to know about the subject depend on the whether the interview is for a news story or the features. Is the source an authority? What is their professional or scholarship background, hobbies and interest? What do they know and about your subject and how they feel about it? And second one is a flexibility. Try to fit the interview not to their schedule. If you are working against the deadline, tactfully explain and ask if there is a time they could fit you into their schedule. Be prepared to interview early, late or during lunch. And pre-interview stage 2, arrange the interview. Once you have begun to get an understanding the person, you can telephone them to ask for an interview. Bradley to write digest suggest that when a writer are asking for interview, they should put themselves in the interview position. What will be the interview costume? Who are you? For which publication do you write? How are interviews treated in the publication? What will be the interview do for him? How much time will he lose for interview? These you can think away already. Research and prepare. Once the interview has been arranged, and the writer should start searching for the answer he need in the article. The late Cornelius Read, author of The Longest Day, wrote that an interview should never be conducted unless the writer know at least 60% the answer in advance. The writer may check earlier news clipping and the subject material which he has already been published. This information may from the basic to follow-up question. However, don't waste time to source time by asking questions which can easily find answers. Fourth one is just sources. Okay, so library reference can acquaint the writer with the current issue on the topic, supplies with the news clipping and the library research. The writer can begin forming the questions. He will know that answer to some question, but the reporter may want to get the interview comment and viewpoint. Writer understand that for an article to be credible, fact and the opinion must attributed in disclosure publicly known fact can be used without attribution. However, the news journalist should strive forward listing interview the reference source be source of attribution. The writer can never use himself as the source of attribution in the news or future story. So these are the something. And question and behavior. Question, it's a good idea to avoid putting word into the interviewer's mouth. Question begin with the end with comment such as don't you think, don't you think, would you not, you do not, you say generally indicate a thought of the writer want to attribute to the source. Such question indicate to your source that you are really written the article and just want to attribute it to him. It also put the interviews to yes or no answering mode. This make getting any coordinate and source personality and additional thought next to no impossible. An easy way to avoid yes and no answer to write your question phase in the 5 WSNH format. For example, what do you think about and why is this project so important? These questions put the source in reflective and explanatory mode. And artful note taking enable write to note just down main point and also note the color of the atmosphere in interview. The writer can note the source tone of the voice, facial expression, as well as movement, physical appearance, clothing and many other things will help you point the vivid word picture in the subjects. Okay, and this was about question and conduct. So among the most critical thing actual interview is absolute necessary to being on time. Never waste the source time by making him wait related task to exceed the time limit you ask for. If information needed Ask for another interview time, that always defer the source schedule. If the interview is running overtime, the source want to continue, go ahead, but don't waste time. Establishing rapid rapport between the reporters and the source of the primary consideration during the interview. Since the real purpose of an interview is to get subject to talk, not merely answer the list. Prepare well researched question, prepared the make the difference between a great and mediocre article. One way to establish rapport, the be professional in every way. Be on time, look sharp, and know the question you want to ask. Don't be too casual in manner. It's be that little formal when meeting the someone the first time. Don't invite yourself to sit down, wait until you are asked. In other words, conduct yourself if you are their guest as indeed you are. Atmosphere, because of the many people are nervous about the being interviewed, the writers is responsible for putting the person at ease. Although writer should not waste time to ice breaking small talk, he can begin the relatively easy question and then move to the more tough provoking. To become the accomplished interviewer, the reporter must be two things during the course of the session: let the subject talk and listen attentively to be asked. Encourage the subject to be himself instead of a spokesman. However, to make the interview as a conversation possible, do more than just listen. Conversation to more process to reporter expected to carry his share of it.